So, you've built a database. Awesome. But now what? The real magic of SQL isn't just building the structure, it's about what you do with the data inside. Today, we're going to master the commands that put you in the driver's seat. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's be real. Have you ever just stared at a giant spreadsheet and felt completely lost? What if you could just talk to your database? Tell it, hey, add this, change that, find me this one specific thing. Well, that's exactly the kind of control SQL gives you, and we are about to learn the commands that make it all happen.
To really get a solid handle on SQL, let's think about your database like it's a house. First, you need that blueprint to build the structure itself. But let's be honest, the real fun starts once it's built, when you get to manage everything you're putting inside. And this slide just nails the concept. On one hand, you have DDL, the data definition language. That's your blueprint. It's what you use to create and alter the structure of the house. But what we care about today is DML, the data manipulation language. This is the fun stuff. This is the furniture. DML commands are how we add, find, change, and rearrange all the actual data living inside our database.
So, you've built this beautiful house, your database tables are all set up and ready to go. What's the very first thing you got to do? Well, you need to start moving your stuff in. And that's exactly where our first DML command comes into play.
Say hello to the insert command. Think of it like your personal moving truck. You just tell it which table to put something into, and then you list the values for each column. So here, we're adding a brand new card into our TBL card table. And boom, just like that, a new piece of furniture, a totally new row of data is in the room.
Okay, so the furniture's in the house. That's great. But what's the point if you can't find any of it? The next logical step is to ask the database to show us what's actually in there.
The most common commands you're ever going to use is select. Now, using select star, that little star symbol, is kind of like shouting, "Show me absolutely everything." When we run select star from TBL customer, we get the entire table back, every single column, every single row. It's like getting a complete inventory of that room.
But let's be honest, you really want everything. What if you're just looking for one specific customer? This is where the real magic happens. The where clause basically turns select into your own personal search engine. We just specify where customer ID equals 9008, and boom, the database instantly cuts through all the noise and gives us the exact row we were looking for. So remember, where lets you get super specific.
Now here is a pro tip that's going to save you so many headaches later on. While select star is easy to type, it's almost always a bad idea in real-world code. And why is that? Well, first, just like the quote says, if your table structure changes, like if someone adds a new column, your code could totally break. But there's also performance to think about. Asking for every single column when you only need, say, 2 of them, forces the database to do a ton of extra work. It's just not efficient. The key takeaway here is always be specific about the columns you need. It's safer, it's clearer, and it's way faster.
Things change. People move, information needs correcting. Back to our house analogy, maybe we want to repaint a piece of furniture. So, how do we edit a record that's already sitting in our database?
For that, we use the update command. It's actually really simple. You tell SQL which table to update, you set the column to its new value, and now listen up because this is the most important part. You use a where clause to tell it exactly which row to change. Forgetting that where clause could mean you accidentally change every single customer's name to the same thing. So, the rule is always, always, always use where with update.
All right, we've moved furniture in, we've checked on it, we've even repainted it. The very last thing you can do is, well, throw something out. And with this next command comes a very serious warning.
The delete command, well, it does exactly what it sounds like. It permanently removes rows from your table. Just look at this before and after. Once we run the delete command for card ID 14, poof, it is gone, forever. And just like with update, that where clause is your absolute best friend. It's your safety net. Without it, you could wipe out your entire table in a split second. So you have to use delete with respect.
And there you have it. That is your core DML toolkit. You insert to add, you select to find, you update to change, and you delete to remove. These 4 commands, they're the absolute foundation for pretty much everything you'll ever do at data in SQL. Look, mastering these commands is a huge, huge step, but the real power of a database comes from how different tables can relate to each other.
So what happens when the info you need is split across 2 or 3 or even more tables? How do you bring it all together into one cohesive picture? Well, that's where the next level begins.